Hi, everybody, it's your old pal Chuck. And as we start to wind down our look at the G.I. Joe 50th plus one anniversary line, I am excited to bring you today the Cobra Shadow Guard. It's part of the Marine Devastation 2-pack. You know, it's funny. I wonder if they worked the phrase devastation in because technically the same time this figure is on the shelves, Devastator's on the shelves instead of I don't know. Okay, that's a bit of a reach there, even for me, folks. I'm sorry. But basically what we have right here is a repaint of the G.I. Joe Retaliation Crimson Guard. Now, if you remember from my review of that figure, basically what we have is a Crimson Guard figure with some bunch of new tooling, giving it the added wrist articulation, a new holster, and a great tactical vest. Now, if you want to leave it off, you have a pretty standard Crimson Guard. I opt to leave it on because I kind of like the look of it. And you figure maybe these guys get a little cold. But in this regard, this figure is all in black. And a lot of the great detailing is lost. Basically, the only paint highlights you have is a little silver right here on the leg, here on the helmet, and the gold Cobra emblem, which is used to symbolize the 50th anniversary figures. It wasn't so much an issue really in this line, but in the 50th anniversary line, not 50th plus one, you had some re-releases of figures, and that little gold logo helps differentiate um, which release they are. I'm sure it also helps with like the newly released uh, Best of the 80s set, which has been broken up into 2 packs. Because you have an additional rock viper, but then you have that Duke and stuff. So it helps to see if you're getting an actual Best of the 80s Duke or the Duke that was released in that 3-pack, which is now in this 50th plus one line. I don't know if I haven't put you to sleep. Good. We're still looking at this figure. There is some silver detailing here on the ankles too, but like I said, this figure is basically black. I have it outfitted here with the setup that I would probably display this with, which is with the revolver in the holster, the sword in the sheath, and I really want to stress just how versatile this sheath is. It's on a hinge, and it's great that they did that because it really helps with the articulation and posing and getting that sheath out of the way. I think that's part of the figure that's often overlooked, and it shouldn't be. There's also right about here a little bit of a Crimson Guard shiv for them to use, and of course this is the standard Crimson Guard rifle that's been upgraded ever so slightly. I actually kind of really like how this figure looks on the stand. I mean, I have it as with pegged in, but with the one leg slightly bent on that Cobra logo that he's stepping over something. It just actually very cuts a very interesting pose, and you know, black repaints of figures in all lines can either be really really good or really really bad. There's no in between, and even though you're losing a lot of the detail into the folds and the sculpt of the uniform here on the figure, I think this repaint ended up being really really good. Real quick, I just wanted to mention that the figure does come with the other 2 weapons that the original Retaliation figure came with. You have this bullpup style machine gun that I think actually was a holdover from Rise of Cobra when they had their version of the Crimson Guard, and they used this new weapon design with the bayonet here. Now those original figures had a hard time holding it, but with the new wrist articulation, you can't actually get this Crimson Guard to hold it, and I think basically because of the way the grip and the stock and the clip is all set up, it just wedges right in there and doesn't go anywhere. And then here you have this nice little suppressed machine gun, like a little bit of like a Mac 10 type of deal. I'm not really going to use it with this figure. The Crimson Guard really don't strike me as Mac 10 guys. I mean, they really strike me as like ceremonial guys, so they'll use that rifle, but really they're not forward combat. They're like more stealth. So I think stuff like the handgun and the knife would just work a little better overall. Let's be honest. Ultimately, you're buying this figure really for the other figure that comes with it. And I think that's a bit of a shame that I think maybe, well, with troop builders, Gung Ho will be ending up on eBay, but I think with a lot of people, this figure will also be ending up on eBay in droves just because they want Gung Ho. And this is a really cool figure. Now, as I mentioned, the articulation is basically the same as the Retaliation version. You do unfortunately lose any ab crunch due to the vest, but it is what it is. Um, this line is a Toys R Us exclusive that is shared with Big Bad Toy Store. Now, Big Bad, last time I checked, was not selling the Marine Devastation set on its own. You had to buy the entire wave as a set or part of a case. And I really couldn't justify doing that, and I can't recommend doing that because then you get stuck with the Blowtorch Crocmaster set, the Steel Brigade Iron Grenadier set, and you know that really may not be something you're interested in. So my recommendation is try your local Toys R Us, ToysRUs.com, which I'm pretty sure is where I got mine, or I may have gotten it through a friend on Facebook, which is usually the best route to go. This is your old pal Chuck for the Crimson Shadow Guard. We will see you next time.